Hello, this is Victor, and this time I want to share with you what you can find on the White Dwarf 111 and 112. These are the two last White Dwarf. Today, one was from the last week, 12th of March 2016, and the other one was the White Dwarf that was just issued today. So I just want to share with you what you can find inside to see if you may be interested, of course. These are based on the new stone cast, what's called is Extremis, and yeah, and inside we are going to find a lot of material on both cases about the stone cast Extremis. Here we have the war scrolls. We see that we will have the war scrolls of these guys, and in that case we are going to have the painting guide and the war scrolls of the Star and Drake. So let's just make a look to what we find in that two White Dwarfs. So of course they start with some introduction, the contents, and then they go directly to showcase the Dracothian Guard, that is the new type of units that we can find for the Stormcast Eternals. They are on Stormcast Eternals riding Dracots. We have some details here in case you are interested to know a little bit more. And yeah, we have different ways of painting them and different details, some fluff, a background, and then we have here also the Knight Herald, or the new Knight Herald that have been just launched together with the Draconian Guard. The cost of this guy is about here it's £15, 19.5 euros, and in case of the dollars it's 25 US dollars. Okay, then we have here the Tempest Lords upgrade. So they are launching a new upgrade to the Tempest Lords, that is with these different symbols. As any upgrade, they are not too expensive, 9 euros for the upgrade. And then they talk about the Stormcast Eternals Extremis, and they start showing the book. I will do a review of the book in the next week when I am acquiring the book. And then also they talk about the new painting guide for the Stormcast Eternals. Here we see information about some of the novels from Black Library, The Last Wall, and here they talk about the new painting sets. These are new painting sets launched by Games Workshop, where you have 3 miniatures and some small pots of paint, and is a way for people to get introduced in the hobby. I think there is also a brush inside. And the cost is 28 euros, so it's quite affordable to have your first kit to paint miniatures. Then we have here some paint splatter to have some guidance how to paint. Always very useful to see what are the steps they use to paint all these miniatures. I always like to look at that. Then here we have something that for me I find quite interesting. You can trust or not what Games Workshop is putting here, but they are sharing with us what are the top miniatures on 2015, and yeah, I just want to mention them. The number 10 is the Stormcast Eternal Celestial Prime, although in the position 9 we have Tau Empire XV95 Ghost Steel Battlesuit. On position number 8 we have the Adeptus Mechanicus Tempris Dominus. In position number 7 we have the Imperial Knight Warden. Position number 6 we have the Space Marine MK4 Legion Veterans Tactical Squad. Blood Sisters on position 5, Skittery Rangers on position 4, and then we go to the podium. So on the third position we have the Dark Angels Interrogator Chaplain. In position 2, Tau Empire XV 128, the Stone Surge, the Stone, yeah, and the winner is Archaon. So interesting to see that according to them, the top miniature in 2015 is a miniature from Age of Sigmar and not from Warhammer 40k. Then here we have the War Scrolls. This is the War Scroll for the Lord Celestan on Dracoth. It have new options, so we have the option that we had before, the Lightning Hammer, but now they have also new options here, and also have the option for for a shield. Let me see if we find this. So it's, yeah, it's no. Then they have, okay, as you see here, it can wear a shield. I will need to make a more look on that, but yeah, we have options. These options have some different abilities, and more or less, I will say my favorite is still being the Lightning Hammer. It's quite balanced with 3 attacks, 3/3, -1, 2 damage. The one that we used to have on the Dracoth was the Tempestos Hammer with 3 attacks, 3, 2 to wound, -1 d3 wounds. So yeah, we have new options with new abilities, and I will say all of them are more or less the same. And here we have the War Scrolls for the new Draconian. This is called the Dracothian Guard. Okay, we have the first ones that have this type of lances, and all of them will have a shooting attack to 6 inches. That is the Dracoth shooting bolts. And then we have different type of weapons depend on the riders. So here we have the glaive wall that gives some protection against shooting, and in the assault is like a lance, is doing 3 damage instead of 1, and yeah, and I think that's all. And then they have the shields that they can repeat once and the save, so it's quite important because they have 3+ armor save and they can repeat once. So if you don't have branding, you can be screwed up if you fight against them. So you can see it's not bad in close combat, and 3 attacks. All will have the attacks of the Dracoth is the same. It's 3 attacks, 3/3, -1, 1. So the standard attacks of the Dracoth, and then in that case they have 3 attacks on the rider, 3/3, -1, 1, and remember this damage 3 if you are assaulting. So it's with mobility 10 you can manage to make the assault yourself. Then we have the Tempestors. Tempestors are the ones that have the shooting attack. They can shoot at 12 inches for shooting attacks, no rending, and then in close combat they have the Warblade, and they also can have the shield. So it's, yeah, in close combat it's not amazing. In shooting they can do quite well, but without rending they are not that strong. So I'm not sure that you want to use them for shooting. And then we have the Concussors. The Concussors are equipped with hammers. The difference is that they have 3 attacks, 3/3, -1, 2 damage. It's the same as the Retributors. Okay, and the Thunder Strike is if the result of a hit roll for this unit, Lightning Hammer, is a 6 or more, its attack is inflicting a mortal wound in additional, so they can make mortal wounds in addition to the attacks. So yeah, these are competing a lot with these ones. The both are quite good. And then the last ones are the Thunder Axe. As you can see, it's more difficult to hit with the Thunder Axe. It's 4 instead of 3. Same number of attacks, 2 damage the same. And the point is that you can do more attacks if you have more enemies in contact. So you can increase the number of attacks. This is the ability. I will say the hammers and the storm glaives for me are the ones that are more interesting. Yeah, then we have more information, more fluff. This is interesting. These are pictures of army from a reader. We have the weapon of the week. So yeah, then we have some miscellaneous things. This magma bot, it's amazing how it's painted. I really love it. And this is all what we find in the White Dwarf of 12th of March, issue 111. We go to the 112. We are going to find more about the new dragon. Here we see some images, more detailed images of the dragon. Here I would say here it's looking better. For me, the weird is the positioning of the wings. It looks very strange. The base is looking interesting. If it's have these rings, and I guess it will have it. More close-ups of the pictures from different angles. The tails on the head and the wings. I think this way to make the wings looks quite interesting with these small stars. More fluff, more explanation on that. Also talking about some of the books from Black Library. We have here the last book from it's called Forge World. Okay. And then here it's asking if that they want to show more readers armies. So we are going to see in future we might see more reader armies on the White Dwarf. And we go to the paint splatter, dedicated to this time to the dragon and to the rider of the dragon. How to do scales, how to do the mouth, especially the tongue, how to do the claws, again the gold, and also how to do this edge highlighting. So some details interesting to see. Then we go some fluff explanation about the Eternal War, about the Stormcast Eternals. I guess it's going to be the same fluff that we are going to find on the Stormcast Eternals Extremis book. This conversion for me, this from heavy metal, this conversion really amazing. You see that even you can open the Copic and see the pilot. Another amazing painting job. Then we have some showcase of the Death Guard. See here more. And we go to the War Scrolls, and the War Scrolls have a lot of rules. I would say that this is quite a solid monster, and you have two options. One is the Lord Celestion Star Drake, or you can have the Drake Worm Templar. So yeah, I'm thinking to do one of these in future. Okay, a lot of special rules. The dragon has several different types of attacks, and then the attack of the rider can you have two options. You can have the Celestial Hammer, or you can have the Stormbound Blade. And yeah, and if we go in more, I will not go in detail to do that, or I can, yeah. They have 16 wounds, both of them, bravery 9, 3+ save, and the movement will depend on the wounds from 12 to 6, and it's the same for both. And the monster is the same for both cases. The only difference is that the rider is different in each cases. Then they have the inescapable vengeance. If this model have made a charge move this turn, it can make these 3 additional attacks. So is the with the hammer, like, or with the stone bone, and this is similar to the Lord Celestial on Drakot. Then with the stone bone blade, this is one of the blades. If the result of any hit to roll for the stone bone blade is a 6 or more, the target is racked with the fury of the storm, make 3 wounds rolls additionally. So if you roll a 6, then instead of making 1 roll, 4 plus 2 wound, you will do 3 rolls. So you can do multiple wounds. And the next attacks are the ones from the dragon. Okay, the hammer don't have any special abilities. Apart of that, you can both of our weapons will have yeah, I think this escapable vengeance is this, and then no, the thunder. Yeah, and then they have this Sigmarid thunder shield, that each time that you roll a 1 and you save, because you reroll once. So if you roll once, you can if you roll a 1, you can reroll, and if you save after that, you will make a mortal wound to all the units that are at 3 inches from the dragon, what is not bad. And then the dragons have the cavernous jaws. So this is after this model piles in, but before attacking, pick an enemy model within 3 inches and roll a dice. If it's greater than the wounds, you kill automatically the model. And I think you can do this as many times as you have here. So you can do 3, 2, or 1 time. So you roll a dice. If you're in front of a guy with 1 wound, you roll a dice. On 2 plus, you kill the guy. If you are in front of a guy, the cavalry, with 2 wounds, on 3 plus, you kill the guy. If you are, you have to roll more than the number of wounds. Then they have the sideway tail that is doing these 3 mortal wounds around. And then we have the Lord of the Heavens, and this means that they have 2 types of attacks. They can do like a breath attack, or it can do like a rain of stars, and is doing damage from the distance. And then yeah, they bust your wizards around, and both of them have. So if we go in detail, yeah, they have 2 types of shooting attacks that are quite good. The same on this guy, and the difference is the rider, and of course, he have not the same abilities as the Lord Celestial. So instead of that, he's giving +1 to the bravery. If I'm not wrong, your army within the inches. Yeah, bravery. Add 1 to the bravery of all sword can stand from the range, and then you will have different abilities depending on the weapon that you choose. You can have the Tempest Axe, the Arc Hammer, or the Storm Lance. If you take the axe, sorry that sometimes I'm not reading very well, but reading upside down is quite difficult. After this model attack with its Templar Axe, roll a dice for each unit that suffer any wounds from it. If the result is higher than the unit's wounds characteristic, these models can only move 1 during the piling. So you limit the piling if you're using the Temper Axe, the Arc Hammer, the static hum of an Arc Hammer resists to an almighty concussive. Let me read. So an Arc Hammer, if you roll a 6 to hit or more, make 2 wound rolls. So you duplicate the room, so it's making more wounds. And the storm lands. If the hit for all of the storm is a 6 or more, the target is a monster, you inflict the 6 mortal wounds. So if you roll a 6 and the target is a monster, so it's this for monster hunting. So, but of course you have, and the number of attacks will depend on which. Since here the most interesting maybe is the temple axe, but you have no branding, so you have to balance it right. I think that maybe if you want to play this guy, you have to use, I think, the storm lance and use him to hunt other monsters. Yes, they look quite solid. They are not although they have armor 3+, and you can go to 2+, and depending on the count you fail or no once. But anyway, they don't have any defense against mortal wounds. And if you go against him, you need something that has branding. And then we have, more information. We have here the miniature of the reader's models, a little bit of heavy metal, and the regiment of renown. So this is what you have in the White Dwarf. Okay. This is the White Dwarf 112. Of course, these 2 White Dwarf are mainly dedicated to the last launch for Age of Sigmar, the Stormcast Eternals Extremis. I will use them. Are interesting if you don't want to buy the Stormcast book. I think it's interesting because then you will have the profiles of what is going to come in the Stormcast books. So this is what you find. I hope you find interesting. Sorry if sometimes I was slow with reading, but I have to read upside down with this setup. I hope you like what you have found and you like this type of videos. Please let me know what do you think. And as usual, if you want to support this channel, you can do it in Patreon. You will see the details in the description below. And as usual, thanks a lot for watching, and see you again later. Bye.